What is up, guys? So quick little video here on some of the creative systems that we used within the last year and this year to hit 20 million a year. So as you can see, in the last 2 months, we did around $2 million in revenue, right? And we did around 700K in profit, right? And we spent around 655K on ads. Now, this ROAS here, just to be transparent, this is not our NC ROAS. Our NC ROAS is lower. We do have recurring orders and rebuy customers coming in. However, we did spend a shit ton of money on ads, and I want to talk to you guys in this video about what we do, what we're doing, and just about the creative side of things, right? Because creative is so important when it comes to this game, guys. Like, you don't even understand. Creative is everything, right? And if you have creative down and you're doing it properly, it doesn't matter on, you know, your offer can be a bit shit, your product selection can be a bit shit, and overall you can be like less good at the other stuff, but because your creatives are dialed in, you will still make money, right? And creatives are just one of those few things that, like, if you can get it down, everything else will come much easier. No exaggeration, right? So let's get right into it, how we're doing creatives, how you guys should do creatives. And again, this is one of those videos where, you know, I'm not gonna it's not for beginners, right? So if you're a beginner, this video will probably not benefit you, right? If you are somebody who's running an ecom brand, you've run ecom brands before, you're somebody who's familiar with the business model, you're going to benefit from this video because I'm going to basically show you the type of stuff that, you know, you're not going to find on YouTube. And right before we get into it, as always, guys, if you want more videos like this, let me know in the comments. I'd love to kind of show you guys this type of stuff because, again, like, I run a portfolio. Like the numbers you saw before, that's one of my triple wheels, but we have a couple different triple wheels as well. I have a lot of different ecom brands, a lot of different investments in ecom. I'm fully immersed in this game. So anything ecom related, creatives, internet marketing, I am super nerdy about. I love it. I'm really good at it. And I love to talk about it more than anything. I can't shut up about it, right? So if you guys like this type of content, let me know below. And then if you guys want, before I even get into it, so I don't mess up the flow of the video, if you guys want my one-on-one help from my team to help build, scale, and even sell your own e-commerce brand, if you want to start, if you want us to help you fund your own e-commerce brand, if you just want to be a part of the winning team for e-commerce, link is in bio to join Brandify. We're doing a lot of AI e-commerce, helping you start your own AI e-com brand and everything along those lines. We are in the bio, and it's not just one of those things where we're just gonna like, it's very beginner friendly. Like, no, we can legit partner with you inside of Brandify. So that's always good. So let's get into the mix here, right? So first things first, let's do the big reveal. 80-20 rule. What is the 80-20 rule, right? So when you're launching creative serve product, whatever you're selling, you guys always have to remember that 80% of the stuff you're launching is what you already think is going to work, and 20% is you taking a shot in the dark, right? So what this means really is, let's say you're testing a product, and let's say the main angle for this product is, let's say, hair loss, right? 80% of the angles that you're testing in the ad account need to be around hair loss. So they need to be like, this regrowed my hair, this was good for menopause. Let's say we're talking like a supplement, like some random supplement that the main angle is for hair loss. 20% of those angles need to be something new. Like, this is the best post-menopause thing. This helps, or this is the best this is the best that. The main point I'm trying to get across here is there's an 80-20 rule internally when you're testing angles for creatives, right? 80% needs to go towards what's working, and 20% needs to go towards what you don't know is working, but could potentially work. The reason why this is so important is because when I see people do creatives and creative strategy, the issue is a lot of times they'll get, you know, into this whole game and they find an angle that's working, and then they go from, you know, being at like a 70% is like them trying new things and 30% is trying the main angle. They'll go from that to like an 80-20 because they found this angle. They'll go to like 100% of just doing one angle. They'll keep rinsing the one angle, and then eventually they get to a point where it doesn't work anymore, right? And that's typically what happens. You always need to be trying new things, trying new angles. And if you're not segmenting in launches every single day that are new things, you're eventually going to die, right? And a lot of people get too attached to this angle. So this strategy works really well for supplements, C&G products. So it's like, you know, hair care products. It could be cosmetic as well. And this exists in all different types of realms, right? So you guys can view it as like, let's say you're testing and I'll do a non-supplement here. I'll do something that's a little bit more broad. Like, let's say you're testing a cosmetic product like Korean skincare. right? Let's say like a Korean skincare product. I don't know if you guys have seen the Korean skincare product. Like maybe I can even just share my screen and show you guys. So this is the product I'm talking about, Korean skincare, right? Let's say you're selling something like this. So again, this isn't, because I know a lot of the stuff I talk about is around supplements, and a lot of you guys think, okay, this is only like supplements. No, this works for everything. And by the way, I've made just as much money from supplements than I have on cosmetic, hair care, and other niches that are not supplements, right? So it's like a skincare product, for example. Interesting angle, right? All right, actually, this is a good example. So like, for example, let's say you're selling this product, right? And the main angle that you're pushing is, and again, creative wise, you're doing this between statics, AI videos, which I'll talk about later, and all this different stuff. It doesn't always have to be UGC. But let's say you're pushing creatives for this product and you're getting to a point where you're like, all right, the main angle for this is like have a Korean, like obviously the main angle for this would be like Korean skincare. Like Koreans are so good at skincare. Koreans have the best skin. So this is how you get Korean skin, like glass skin, whatever. We'll call it like glass skin angle, right? Because if you guys know, if you ever sold products like this, glass skin is the main thing here. So what you would do in this situation to test out another, like other angles, there's so much you could do, right? Like for example, like you would, like for example, the top angle right now is this. So it's literally like, I don't even know how to classify this. See, I can't believe that this is the angle that they're running with, and it's printing for them. But, and if anyone is watching this right now, you can throw this angle up on Meta and it'll definitely print, because I know no dropshippers are doing this right now. Like, bro, they're going crazy with this. Hyperpigmentation around your asshole, right? That's literally it. That's another angle, right? And you know, if they weren't, okay, like hypothetically, let's say we're looking at an ad account. If these guys weren't throwing up different angles on the ad account, they weren't trying different things, they would never have found that angle and they would never catch that scale, right? So the way I view products, they're just a vehicle for you to find winning creatives from. And if you're not consistently testing new angles with your creatives, for example, skincare, it's like you can dive into different places where you can use it. Or when you get to like, there's so many different angles, but this is probably the best one. I'll just keep it like this for now. If you're not testing these different angles, you never catch like new parabolic scale. You'll always kind of be in a rut of trying to get like milking out the same thing. So that's the first thing, is like whenever you guys are testing, always follow 80-20 rule. The only reason we've been able to consistently scale is because we have a system for testing new angles, and that's very important. Okay, next thing here, guys, is going to be high output, 5 to 6 batches a day. This is a must. If you guys are testing different creatives, if you're running up a product, if you're running up a store, whatever you're doing in this realm, you need to make sure you're having a high output of creatives. I do not believe that quality over quantity. I believe you should have both, right? It's kind of like that analogy, like why work hard when you can work smart? Why not just do both? Like work hard and smart, because there's people out there that are doing that. You guys think that, and I'm not trying to shit on any other communities out there, any other ideologies or ways, methodologies, sorry, of running ecom businesses, but I know there's a big trend of people talking about quality over quantity. Like you should only do one batch every other day and really make that batch good. Dude, you have to realize you're competing with people who are doing quality and quantity. Like I'm telling you right now, you have to do both. You have to put out a high output of well thought out good creatives. Like that's the game, bro. Like the business we are running is like a creative business. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Sometimes people ask me, how does it feel running your $20 million portfolio? And I'm like, dude, sometimes it feels like I'm running a marketing agency, because all we talk about internally, all we're doing is creatives, right? So like this is your whole job. If you're in e-commerce, you're building a dropshipping store, you're doing AI e-com like us, I'm telling you, bro, it is a creative game. You go inside of Brandify, you go to many of the student chats, you go to our main chats, you'll see all we're talking about is creative, because we understand that's what fucking matters, bro. It's a creative game, right? So high output, 5 to 6 batches a day. You have to get to that output. You have to try different angles, right? So if you're doing 6 batches a day, at least 2 of those batches are going to be new angle stuff you haven't done before. 4 of them are going to kind of be building off of what you already know works, right? So high output is super important. I can't stress that enough. And again, guys, this is in no particular order. No particular order. I'm not ranking these by most important to least important. These are just things that we focus on that you guys should as well. Seasonal sales on winners to explode. You guys want to make these things pop? You want to make videos pop? You need to have a seasonal sale on it. Guys, Every time. Monthly, typically if I had to like zoom out and look at how our split looks like, at least once a month we're finding a new batch of winning creatives per brand. I would say like that's usually what we lean into. Whatever that new batch is, something that's built off of the same angles we know work, and we just were able to make it work in a different way. Or if it's something completely new like skincare for your ass, whatever it may be, we typically find a new batch once a month. Now, what our strategy is, and by the way, you're not going to find this anywhere else on the internet. You're not going to find this on YouTube. You're not going to find this in the fucking 3-4 hour guide videos that you have online on how to dropship, right? You're not going to find that in those type of videos. You're only going to find it videos like this and communities and whatnot like Brandify. But our strategy is when we find once a month, we optimize for finding one creative winning batch. And when we do, within a day of validating that it's a winner, we throw it up into a seasonal sale that's relevant to the product. And there's always a seasonal sale going up. So right now it's February, there's Valentine's Day sale. You can always use that. But there's always stuff coming up. And if you can't find one, just call it the month sale. Be like for example, like spring is like a March could be like the spring sale, winter sale, summer sale, end of summer sale, beginning of summer sale, back to school sale. Like you can always just find a sale. Like if you really just sit down and think about it, any time of year, doesn't matter what it is. Like we're going at a stock sale, like there's a clearance sale, there's so many, but there's always something to do. So whenever you find that winning batch of creatives for the month, whenever we do, we always throw it up in a sale and then we make it explode, bro. So like there's always this thing where like if a creative batch is working and let's say it's operating at like a $30 CPA, if we add a seasonal sale to it, which I talk about in other videos how to do a seasonal sale, so I'm not going to go over it in this video because this is a creative video. We talk about it in other videos, watch the other videos. You throw up a seasonal sale, it does work way better, right? Way better. So if you throw up that seasonal sale, you'll see a lot more success with the creative batch you found. And I know that's not like super in depth on the creative side, but it's a make or break for us sometimes, bro. Like it really is. Like sometimes like we're not able to find any creatives that work, and we've kind of found a batch that's like break even, kind of working. We throw the seasonal sale on it, and now look, for the next 2 weeks, we're spending 10+K a day on just that. So seasonal sales are monumentally impactful and super important when you find that winning batch of creatives, right? Keep moving forward here. What's the next one? Variations don't work as good. So this is post Andromeda, right? And the reason why I wanted to put this on here is because it kind of contradicts the above statement, but it's really important you guys understand. So post Andromeda, which was the last meta update, if you make consistent variations of the same thing, you don't see the scale stretch out as much. So a lot of you guys might be confused because I just told you that 80% of your volume should be variations of what's already working, or like additions of what's already working. And now down here, I just said variations don't work as good. The reason why I wanted to put this here is to actually clarify. 80% does not mean variations. 80% actually means you're building off of what you already kind of know works. So for example, a variation on paper is one change to a creative. So for example, if I have a creative that is a hook plus body, and it's like a hook is someone talking about like, oh my God, I used this product and did really well. And the body switches to like a testimonial of like somebody else reconfirming what that first person said. What a variation would be is that hook would be switched out with something like a different hook. That's it. One change. Now, if you switch out the hook and you switch out the body, or maybe you switch out the hook and you switch out the music, you switch out multiple parts of the creative, now you have a different creative. So variations are only done on the editing level, and it's only a singular change. If you guys are taking notes, write that down. Now, when it comes to the variations that, in the 80-20 rule, 80% is just like, okay, if you know hair loss is working, you're just making more angles off of hair loss. If you know that the black ICP is working, like selling the black people, right? And this like ICP is a huge thing when it comes to ecom and creatives. You're consistently just selling to those people. Like in those creatives, you're making it like very tailored to them. It's more like an internal thing. I wish there was like a set in stone definition I could give, just like I could with variations, but it's not, right? It's more of an internal thing, and it's kind of like, okay, we've been making creatives around this is what we're focusing on, but the 20% is going to be different, right? So variations, what I mean by down here, are just singular changes to a winning creative. So if you have a winning creative, like creative number 3 is a winning creative, you make 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and that's just you making little changes to the creatives. That doesn't work as good. That used to do really well, and I know in other videos I talk about that, but I need to clarify. That strategy doesn't work that well anymore. And nowadays, it's more so about like building off of the angle that works well, yes, but then also testing new stuff. And by the way, with this 80-20 rule, this is just current output. If you guys do like a 60-40, that's even better, right? The more new shit you can do, the better. But yeah, that's just that. Let's keep moving here. Track everything on Notion. Guys, we have a big video going up. I don't know if it's up yet. Depending on when we get this video up, you might see it. But I did a video where I dove into the actual Notion templates we use to do creative strategy. I don't know if that video is up yet. It just depends on when we get this video up. So if that video is up, it's on the channel. You'll see it. It's like the back end systems of a $20 million a year business. If it isn't up, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications so you see when it does go up. But regardless, if you're following our systems that we teach in videos and on Brandify, or you're doing your own systems, always make sure to track everything on Notion. That's like your content calendar. That is the different batches you're doing. That's what you're testing, what angles you tested for the week. Have your data, because you can look back at your data and make decisions. I'll put two quotes here. One quote's from me and one quote's from Steve Jobs. The quote from me is, when you make decisions off of data, you get groundbreaking results. I'll repeat it one more time so it sinks in. When you make decisions off of data, you get groundbreaking results. If you guys want that 3+ ROAS, if you want shit to scale to the moon, if you want your ads to print so much that money's coming out of thin air, you can't just guess your way to it. You have to get data, be intentional with the data, make decisions off the data, and then that's how you do it. I know it's so simple, but a lot of you fucking idiots don't think about that. A lot of you guys are overlooking that, right? And I talk to people all the time that are like, yeah, man, my creatives aren't working. I'm like, okay, let me see your data. We'll look through your data together. And they're like, what do you mean data? Like, I don't got data. I'll show you my ad account. I'm like, no, you idiot. Where's your data? Like, you got to put it in Notion. You got to put it in Sheets. You got to organize it somewhere. Track everything. I use Notion. We teach people how to use Notion. Notion is my favorite. You can use whatever the fuck you want, but your data is so important. You need to have your data. The second quote is from Steve Jobs, and that is, you can only connect the dots in retrospect. And what that means is you can only see the patterns by looking backwards, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I'm complicating it even more. But the thing is, like, okay, if you have your data and you know you're tracking everything, you can only see the patterns and connect the dots and see what's working, see what you need to focus on when you look at the data. And you might not notice that now, you might not think it's important now, but it is so important later down the line. So track everything, very important. We have another video going up on how to do that. And if you guys want like us to help you set up your own tracking sheets and set up your own stuff, Brandify, link in bio. You already know how it is. Let's rip it. Best community in the world. Next one, be aggressive. This is huge, bro. I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it again. I am not giving you guys marketing financial advice. I got to put a disclaimer so I don't get cooked by different government departments, but be aggressive. Guys, you're playing your aggressive game. Big brands like Rise that are billion-dollar companies, other big brands as well. I use Rise as an example because they're so big and they make so much money. But a lot of other large drop shipping businesses, large e-commerce businesses, large AI e-commerce businesses are all extremely aggressive, right? Be aggressive, right? You want to be aggressive. That's where the money is, right? You want to make claims. You want to be bold. You want to say things because your competitors are. That's that. Like, a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, but like, you know, maybe like for example, I'll give you an example. You're selling hair loss. I love using hair loss, right? Because we made millions in it. You sell hair loss, and they're like, okay, you're going to be goody two shoes, and you're going to say, this has the ability to grow your hair back. Fine, do that. Somebody else is going to come rip your product, and somebody else is going to sell it to your same ICP, same market, and they're going to say, this grew my hair back in, this grew 5 inches of my hair back in 90 days. And I was told that if it doesn't, I'll get a 30-day refund or whatever it is. They're going to make claims. They're going to be bold. They're going to make guarantees. You need to play that game, right? You need to be aggressive. The more aggressive you go, the better. And I'm not going to tell you guys, you know, how aggressive you can go, how aggressive you can't go. I'm just telling you guys what I've seen. I'm going to tell you guys what, as an internet marketer, somebody who's been pushing ads, has spent tens of millions of dollars on ads, I can tell you the more aggressive you go, the better. And that's just a fact, right? And that is that. So let's keep moving forward here. Next one, work backwards from ICP. Don't overcomplicate it, right? What that means is I've hired, you know, probably 30, 40 plus creative strategists in my time. I've worked with so many different people. I can tell you guys for a fact, like, your ability to simplify things will get you paid. It's very common that people overcomplicate creative strategy and coming up with creatives and what to do, because it's not that complicated. Guys, look at this example. They're winning angles. And I know this is a TikTok shop listing, but everything, the internet's the internet. This will translate over to Meta as well, right? Or TikTok, wherever you're running ads. This is their winning angle. Real versus fake now. This is their winning angle. Wiping your ass with their skincare product. Guys, you think they really sat down and, you know, had a board meeting about this and like really went in depth and did hours and hours of Reddit research? And don't get me wrong, the research is important. The Amazon stuff is important. Understanding what the product is important. Understanding what it does. But a lot of the times you just have to kind of come up with stuff, right? Like that's really it. I promised you guys the angle I just showed you. One of the creators just came up with it and it worked, and now they're all doing it, right? And that goes the same for creative strategy. Sometimes you just need to come up with stuff, and like a lot of people just don't come up with stuff. They really just spend time and like try and go super like nitty gritty and whatnot, but they don't realize you can just come up with stuff, bro. At the end of the day, like you're just selling like magic, right? A lot of the stuff doesn't truly work. Some of it does, don't get me wrong. But a lot of the times when you're doing marketing, you're coming up with a new idea is one of the highest ROI things you can do. Next one is something's gonna work, it will work. Don't make variations of scraps, you will get more scraps. Now, I'm gonna explain this one because this is something that I tell my team members a lot. I tell students a lot personally, and I know that it's gonna benefit some people watching this if you guys are running your own operation, right? Guys, if you make variations of a creative that isn't doing good, you're just gonna get more creatives that aren't doing good. I find that people get so caught up in like the science, whereas they don't look at the overarching picture. Like if you're making variations of a creative that didn't spend, 50, 60K profitably, and it's maybe spent like $2,000 profitably, then died out, whatever it may be, that's a very common situation, you're just gonna keep getting shitters, bro. Like you have to come up with new stuff. You can't get attached to what's not working. I see this happen so often, bro. Like someone will launch a creative and it will do okay. Maybe it breaks even the first day, profitable the next day. You try and scale it, it doesn't work. You're holding on to it for a couple of days, which is fine. You can hold on to something that you've put work into. Sometimes it does turn around, but let's say it doesn't, and it ends up just kind of coasting and dying off within a couple of days. Like literally didn't really do much. It was a flare. Now I've seen people literally switch their whole creative strategy system to just variations, trying to exploit that creative that did well. But did it really do well? If you make scraps of scraps, you will get more scraps, right? That's why we don't do variations anymore anyways, and we try and spread as wide as possible. But like again, if you're gonna get caught up in like trying to make something work by making variations of it, you're never gonna get something that really scales. Be fucking creative. That's why we call it a creative. This one's a little funny, but guys, be creative, right? Like this kind of goes above the first thing. A lot of people like get too caught up in the science of it. They use AI too much, and they get too caught up in like, having AI do everything and plugging in the right listings to come up with the magic scripts and have like a magic Claude setup that comes up with all the scripts. Guys, be creative. Come up with new things. Some of the best angles we've had have been literally no thought process behind it. Just we're trying to be creative. Like for hair care, one time we switched the angle and we're like, this works really well for kids. Like what? And it printed. Like there's so many times that we'll switch genders. We'll be like, this works best for the other gender. We'll have one gender talk about how the other gender really likes it. Or like we'll come up with stuff that just doesn't make sense to the research we're doing, but it could hit and it does well. Like for example, the skincare one that I just showed you guys on cow data. Like, bro, that's not like logical. Like you're selling a skincare product. The ICP are people who have issues on their face and they want better skincare and they like Korean skincare. And you just said, use this they switched to ass wipes. They completely 180 to ass wipes and it's doing so well. You have to be creative because creativity pays, not research, bro. Not having the best document, the best research. That's not what's going to work. It's creativity that pays, right? That's very important. Last but not least, if you aren't using AI, use AI, not like a noob. So what this means is a lot of people use AI like a noob. They are, putting their product in the Claude and they're just saying, come up with scripts for me. That's not how you want to do it. There's a very particular way of doing it. And I can get into a whole video about this. In the next video, we'll talk more about this. But utilize AI to some extent. It doesn't mean that, you want to put the whole thing in the Claude and have it do it for you. But that means that you want to try, for example, hey, AI, like I want to come up with creative scripts. Here are some of the scripts we did before. Here's what's working. Here's what isn't. Play around with it. A good AI framework, I'll tell you guys right now, that works really well is if you are going to use AI to come up with any scripts, the one website you have to use is Prompt Cowboy. Do not put any prompts into Claude or ChatGPT if you're not using Prompt Cowboy, especially on the creative side. It turns lazy prompts into great ones. I'm not affiliated with these guys at all, but I have seen if you are going to lean into AI for script writing and coming up with ideas, first of all, just remember being creative will always pay more. But if you have to use AI for maybe the 80% of the 80-20 rule, whatever it is, use Prompt Cowboy so you have a better script. And that's just a small tip, nothing too crazy. Now, overall, creatives are the most important part of the business model. Guys, you will not see success if you don't get creatives down. It is so important. It is one of the most important parts about what we do. Creative is the main thing we talk about, and Brandify is the main thing that I talk about in other videos. And it's always been the main point about e-commerce. And if you guys actually want to see success with e-commerce, creatives come first. If you guys want our one-on-one help, you guys want us to hold your hand with creatives, you guys want us to show you how we're editing, scripting, and doing all this stuff with creatives, going really in depth with it. If you want to work directly with me and you want to get closer to me and my team, link is in bio to join Brandify. We're doing this really cool thing that we're actually partnering up with students as well. It's a scholarship kind of model as well. This is the first time I'm mentioning this as well online, where we're taking some of our top students that are young, hungry. They don't have to be young, but they're hungry and they have the drive, and we see that they're working hard, they're completing modules and whatnot. We're actually giving them a scholarship, meaning we'll fund their testing, we'll partner with them. We're not charging them. We want to grow with them because we're really trying to build a community and portfolio of brands with our students. And I have a really big vision for Brandify and what we can all do here. So yeah, guys, if you want to be a part of the winning side, even if you're just curious about what Brandify is and what we can do for you and how we can help you, and how it's not just some traditional bullshit dropshipping course, and how it's actually more so of like an incubator community more than anything, and how we've put a lot of energy and time into this. So if you guys are just curious, link is in bio. You can learn more, book a call. It's free. Don't worry about it. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like these type of videos, let me know. I hope this helps you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Love you guys. Peace.